cameras, by the way, for me to be aware if you're here or not. Lord, thank you for this afternoon. Thank you for the lunch that you have given us. Please help my students digest the lesson that we have today. I know this is an ungodly hour and it's the afternoon and it's hot and we are all full. But please guide them and hopefully I get to teach and share them the knowledge that is there to improve the nursing knowledge and careers of these students. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Right, good afternoon, everyone. So again, I'll be checking if you're here later on before we dismiss. Okay, so to continue, we have already talked about some of the roles and responsibilities that you can have or you should have when you want to be a record na po.
Recording in progress.
So again, a while ago, we have talked about the responsibilities that you should have if you are an ICU or a critical care nurse. Okay? Whether you would be in an ICU complex, pediatrics, cardiac, burn unit, and critical care area, you should have these traits as a nurse. Now, here in the Philippines, what organization drives us to prove our competency as nurses after you graduate? It's of course the PRC, diba? That's why you have your board exam. Okay? So the PRC, the Professional Regulation Commission, our board of nursing here in the Philippines, which is headed by our former dean in San Pedro College, si Dr. LCT. This one provides the needed driven, effective, and efficient specialty nursing care services of high standard. High standard and at international level with obtainable resources. Sometimes before reciprocity. Before sa UK, we don't need to take board exams. We only have reciprocity. So i-endorse mo lang ang license, Philippine license mo to another country and yun na yun, it's good as your license to that country. But right now, there are so many regulations. In the US, that exchange program lang ang nursing. For now, you have to take your NCLEX. You have to take your for the Middle East, diba? Ano ganit yun? There's another test in the UK that you have to take. But still, we are at par with the international standards because one of the highest that we have for the Philippines is manpower, diba? Manpower in the form of nursing, manpower nurses, your seamen, your engineers, our engineers. So that is one of our highest imports as a country. That's why we need to have international level for our nurses. If you would look at the questions right now, actually, I think the local board exam is more taxing than the NCLEX, all honesty. Because for the board exam, you have at least 2 days to complete everything and everything is on paper, diba? You have to fight the elements of being sleepy, the anxiety, the concentration that you should have. As compared sa NCLEX, after 75 questions, if you got most of it correct, then tapos na. Close na. So I think the Philippine board exam is really taas of standards. And you as a student nurse and your aim to be a registered nurse is an important step for you to be considered as a competent, full functioning level nurse. Okay, so working group members comprise of clinical nurse practitioners, educators, and nurse manager. They are the people will make actually most of the exam questions in the nursing board exam. So to respond to the mission and commitment, a PRCBO in BON working group develops nursing specialty framework. It was started in 1996 to take one task of setting the process-based framework and guidelines of nursing services. So you have your CCNAPI and PNA as other organizations in which you need to join once you're registered nurses, okay? So our goal, of course, is to be RNs on year 2025 for your batch. So how will you prepare for that? Of course, for you to be registered nurses, you have to make serious, or you have to be serious with your CA2 subject, okay? Because that is our mock board exam for you to be able to gauge if you are able to answer for the board exam properly or not. So, isa sa mga pressures, but that's good pressure for you and your batch. Right, so now we'll go to the nursing process in the critical care unit. Again, I have mentioned that we still have to make use of the usual nursing processes, but there are some things that needs to be different when it comes to the nursing process that is focused on the critical care unit, right? So first and foremost, assessment begins in admission until the patient is discharged. And again, the assessment should be more frequent and you are to be more vigilant when it comes to you, okay? Your initial and subsequent education assessment on patient's current health, altering situation. Again, I have mentioned that the patient is very unstable usually in the ICU. This hour, this patient can have normal vital signs, but later on, there may be changes that can happen right then and there on your patient, okay? So you also have a lot of diagnostics and procedures to check if your patient is still okay, even if the patient looks stable. So of course, in the assessment, we know that we have your and this is just a review. I know that you already know this one. Your verbalizations, the symptoms verbalized, and the main concern of the patient seeking health care is part of the subjective data. Objective, of course, we know that it is factual and observed by your 5 senses. Yan na siya. And of course, there are signs and symptoms, right? So when you do your subjective data, always have your, when you ask questions, always remember your open-ended questions. The history of illness, surgeries, maintenance medications. Allergy is so important, huh? Because this can cause shock sa patient if the allergy is not addressed. Anaphylactic, which will be discussed in multi-systems disorder or problems later on. And of course, the personal habits of the patient: smoking, alcohol drinking, vaping, physical activity, diba? Right now, one of the greatest problems with this generation is lack of mobility, diba? Nakaupo lang tayo always. Like right now, we don't move much around. We don't walk that much. So it's also one of the problems that can cause blood stasis, stroke, diabetes. We do not use the energy or the stored energy that we have in our body. Now let's move on to the nursing diagnosis. So again, after assessment, you have your diagnosis, the data that is grouped or clustered into sets of related information that identify problems. We now have the NANDA to help us with the nursing diagnosis. You're already fourth year. Of course, we know or we expect that you will be good at NCP making after, I don't know if it will be in the first, second, third, or rather on the second, third, or fourth rotation. You are now PCIs, ha? Practicing clinical instructors na kayo. You are expected to be knowledgeable with NCP, reading, and drug studies because you will be checking, no? Your younger nurse, you will checking the younger nursing students' output when it comes to those things. Using diagnosis, standardized labels, thank you, Sananda. Okay, these are also your foundations to achieve the desired outcome. All right, for this era, diba, I don't know if you have been to the Madayao conference yesterday. Fourth year kasi kayo, it's usually the third year that was mandated to go, but AI is a big factor in the discussion yesterday. So for me, if your work is 15% AI generated and above, meron na kasi tayong tool, no? We already have a tool here in our school to detect AI. Turn it in. That is already considered cheating. So make sure that when you have your sources from nursing labs, let's just say, make sure you reword it or make it your own. All right? Any reading, no? I don't know with drug study, hindi naman masyado. The reading, your case presentation, or your case studies, your NCPs. If it's run through, turn it in, and it's 15% and above AI generated, kindly be careful, ha? Because that is already a form of cheating. And that is grounds for, of course, endorsement to disciplinary action. So kindly be careful with your AI generated text, AI generated readings, especially for in guiding how we will. Anyway, if you have questions, we can guide you. AI is a double-edged blade or double-edged sword. It can either be harmful to you or it can also be beneficial to us all. AI naman will not work if bobo yung nag-input ng information sa AI. No? So far, mas maganda pa rin ang bespoke NCP, meaning you tailored it for your patient. No? Hindi mo siya, yes, i-copy-paste mo, nagkuha ka ng idea from sources, but you tweaked it for your very own patient. Okay? Yun lang. You have to be accountable, ha? Again, accountability. Ma'am, grabe naman yung pressure sa amin fourth year. Of course, pressure talaga sa fourth year because we want you to be good nurses. Right? Okay, so next is your planning. So we have talked about assessment, diagnosis, and your planning. So again, the nurse must analyze information gathered from the assessment to prioritize the educational needs of the patient and the family. And the nurse must also consider the patient's physical and emotional status when setting education. Of course, when the family is still very emotional with a certain event, siguro hindi lugar para mag-educate, no? Mga ni dapat himuon. Dili pa na mag-sink in. Like, bag-ura na CPR, bag-ura na revive niyo. Educate din ka. There's a perfect timing for everything. You plan for health promotion if the patient is for discharge or transferred to another ward. Planning for restoration and maintenance. Okay? There should be ability and willingness and readiness to learn also. You have to assess that the patient and the family is ready to learn before you give an input. Okay? And then, how will you know? Of course, they have to reword everything that you have said. Do not expect na, kasabot ka ma'am niya, magtando. Dili na siya. That is not an indicator that the patient or the family understood what you have said. Usay, maulaw lang baya na sila mo, namutando sila, mag-oo sila, di ba? So you really have to ask the patient based on their own understanding and i-relay nila sa imuha unsa ang ilahang nasabtan sa imong gipang sulti sa ila. That is one way of checking for readiness and understanding sa imuhang health teachings. Okay? Dili na kasabot ka ma'am, kasabot ka sir. Niya paghawa sa nurse mo ana dayon. No, sito sulti sa nurse kasabot, di ba? Maulaw ra na sila sometimes. Alright, so factors should be recognized by the nurse when implementing teaching, and mas maganda na handwritten ang iyong teaching. Especially kung mag-discharge ka sa second semester, di ba, you will have your staffing and head nursing. And you are required to give health teachings and medication instructions for take-home medications. So sometimes you really have to write date, time, unsa natambal, what medication niya. Unsa siya i-take sa buntag. Dapat 8 a.m. o 12 noon. Isa ka tabletas. Ana gyud ka specific. You make a table, you write it on paper because you want to be specific, and you have to ask the patient or the watcher to repeat what you have told them to check if they really did understand your health teachings and the plan that you have given to them. Okay? Implementation. Of course, this is an implementation of the plan that you have made a while ago. So there are a lot of implementations that requires you to be dependent or interdependent with other disciplines or other healthcare providers. But meron din tayong independent nursing care. Alam ko na alam nyo na ano ang independent nursing care. So you can provide your physiologic, psychosocial, spiritual care. And then when you need your interdependent, you have to take the pharmacy. You have to call the pharmacy, alternative therapies like your physical therapy, occupational therapy, nutrition and diet, in which you have to call the dietary department, diba? Surgical interventions, immunologic therapy. Ito sila. This is you have to collaborate, no, with other healthcare providers. Your client education, I have already mentioned education a while ago. So this is just part of the from the planning, what type of education will you give to your patients or the family of the patient. Okay. Another thing to learn about client education. So the following are examples of positive outcomes, clarifications, outcomes associated with a structured teaching learning process. Clarification of patients' understanding and perception. So yun, ipaulit mo sa kanila or kahit i-reword nila yung mga sinabi mo. Improve health outcomes relative to self-management techniques. This is not much on ICU kasi dependent ang mga ICU patients compared to OPD patients, ha? Pero you will see an improvement, let's say, from no fever to with fever, or a culture that is kadami-daming bacterial growth culture from a repeat culture na wala ng growth after a course of antibiotic therapy. Pwede yun. Pagdating sa education, you can see that the hand washing technique, from this type of hand washing technique, nag-improve siya, nagawa niya lahat ng strokes, at na-complete niya yung complete time required for hand washing. Pwede ka maging ganun ka-specific sa outcomes. Alright? Okay, so of course, as part of the nursing process, your evaluation, the final component in the patient and family education process, your intent is to determine the effectiveness of everything that you have done during intervention and education. Okay? So clinical judgment na ni nurse and knowledge on how well the learner was able to or the outcomes of the learner or the patient is whether good or bad pa siya, goal met baka or dili, diba? So again, it's continuous. So you have to reassess everything if na-meet mo ba yung goals mo sa evaluation. This is balik-balik na lang. Okay, so this one should be completed at the end of the teaching learning encounter. No, you can have positive constructive feedback so that you can improve or the patient can improve or maintain lang mga techniques. Okay? Right, so reporting and documentation of care. This is also very important because if you did not write it, it did not happen. So necessary to communicate educational efforts to the members of the family, ganyan, ganyan. I will not read everything, diba? But remember, if in your end as student nurses, diba, you have a part in your charting that nursing or education given or health teachings given November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So importante na masulat mo yun at nagawa mo din yun. And not just for the sake of documentation per se. Okay, what should be documented? So again, the complexity of information demanded by governing agencies, lawsuits, and sheer volume of patients in and out of the unit are driving nurses to provide quality documentation of the education encounter. Sometimes, for some hospitals, naagad sila yung form to completely write the education process that they have given, not only to the patient, but also to the family. Okay? So it should tell a story, no? Everything should be written. And sometimes, for some institutions, they even ask the person that was nahatagan of health teachings to sign. Mag-sign siya dito na yes, nakasabot ko sa giingon sa ako as a nurse, sa health teachings ako ang nurse, and then mag-sign ang nahatagan of health teachings. So yan, for the first part of this introduction. Okay? Madali lang, mga 5 minutes because I'll pull out the slides.
Recording stopped.
Bago lang nag-break, mag-bathroom break agad. Inom muna ako ng water.
Recording in progress.
Alright, now, let's proceed to outward ventilation. So now, let's proceed to the disease processes na yun ha. So ngayon, we will focus on the respiratory system. So that is the first system that we'll be talking about. So the way that we will talk about the different organs or organ systems is that we'll start with some of the diagnostic tests, the laboratory tests, the needed assessment that you have to do. And then later on, we'll talk about the disease process itself. And then later on, we will move on to the nursing interventions and then lahi na punta na topic. Okay? Okay, so let's start with the physical assessment. Hopefully, we get to reach. I know it's an ungodly hour. You can drink your coffee while waiting. Kahit ako, ginaantok. Ginaantok ako sa sarili kong lecture. Okay? So let's start with physical assessment. So we have talked about subjective data bago lang. But ang importante pagdating sa RESPI is your associated symptoms. May sulat. Yan. Onset of location. This is about pain. So associated symptoms. Your duration, location, severity, no? Setting, time of the day. Ang importante is sa RESPI ha, kung pag pain, if there is pain, sometimes the location of the pain is on the chest. Ang problema manggod is that if you have pain in the chest, that's a trivial whether the condition is respiratory in nature or cardiac in nature. Diba? Malibog ka. Unsa man ni siya? Nag-heart attack ni siya. Nagsakit lang iyang dughan kay lisod siya hinga. So how do you know or what is the diagnostic test that you have to do in order to differentiate if it is a respiratory failure, a cardiac failure, or even a gastric problem? Sometimes kasi, di ba, the gastric pain can radiate to the chest or even a cardiac problem can radiate at the maybe let's say at the upper stomach or even at the back or even at the arm. Kakabalo, nagsakit imong arm, abinimog nahaway lang ka or muscular problem, yun pala, it's a radiating pain sa imong cardiac problem, di ba? Simba ko lang. So what will you do? You have to do your ECG to differentiate. Now, respiratory-wise, it's already sometimes very obvious kasi sometimes the patient is already pale, cool, clammy. There's already difficulty of breathing. And then the O2 saturation is already low. So some of the things sometimes is already very obvious when it comes to respiratory assessment. But if you're still wondering if this pain is originated from the difficulty of breathing, from a cardiac problem, or from a gastric problem, you just have to do your ECG. Okay? What other data can you check which is very objective when it comes to assessment? Orthopnea. We know that orthopnea is the shortness of breath when lying down. Bigla lang siya flat on bed, manglisod siya og hinga, di ba? Lalo na kung during sleeping time. So what is the question that is important to ask the patient, especially at home? The important question is how many pillows do you use or lie down when you sleep? If the patient would mention, let's say, 3 pillows, You, as a nurse, would have to document that as a 3-pillow orthopnea. Or sabihin niya mga 4 na pillows po. Or, so that would be documented as a 4-pillow orthopnea. Okay? Sabi niya, ma'am, 2 lang. Eh, di 2-pillow orthopnea. Okay? Hope you understand. So that is how you would document it. Kailangan ng elevated ang kanyang upper trunk niya or at least ang chest niya para hindi siya mahirapan maghinga. Okay? So when it comes to cough, there are a lot of manifestations of cough, diba? So you just have to ask the question, kailan nag-umpisa? Is it productive? Diba? You have your wet cough and your dry cough. So is it chronic? What does it mean? Matagal na ba siya? Okay? What improves your cough? You have to take medicines? Do you have to go outside? Magpa-aircon lang ba ka? Ana-ana. What makes it worse? What medications are you taking? Meron bang sputum? If meron, anong color? So, ang daming tanong sometimes. But syempre, cough is trivial kasi sometimes cough can just be allergies, di ba? Or an effect of postnasal drip. Or, hindi mo alam, pneumonia na pala siya. Okay? Wheezing. Wheezing, wala dito. Wheezing, that is also a problem, di ba? If the patient is asthmatic. So when does it occur? What makes you wheeze? What is your triggers? Is it loud? Do you take medications? And so on and so forth. You have to ask that one. Pag ongoing wheezing ang pasyente, syempre hindi ka na magtanong no, i-address mo siguro muna yung wheezing kay mag-blue na yung pasyente mo, sige ka tanong, mag-violet na. You have to address first the problem before you sometimes ask questions. Okay? Yung chest pains, na-mention ko na yan. So sometimes pwede pleural inflammation ang cause, di ba? Sometimes soreness of the chest muscles kay sige cough, or sometimes indigestion, sometimes cardiac problems. So that's why you have to ask, or you have to do rather ECG to determine if it's cardiac, gastro, or respiratory. Alright, the past health history. So this is important. You also do this during your case studies, diba? Yung childhood illness, immunization, smoking history, and alcohol history. Now, we have to include vaping in the history pagdating sa smoking, because that is the new thing that is being one of the causes of respiratory problems right now. Dili lang smoking, diba? So it should also be included in your past health history, especially if you would like to focus on respite. Now, sometimes in the patient's chart, this is already asked, diba, in the ER by the intern or the clerk. So you just have to read on it on the chart. But if you feel that may kulang pa na information, that is the time wherein you have to ask the patient or you can ask the family member. Right, so you have to ask if there is a family history. Di ba ginagawa niya din to sa case study? You ask for history of cancer among family members, diabetes, sickle cell anemia, heart disease. Bakit importante pa rin ang heart disease? Because some heart problems, di ba, can cause pulmonary congestion. Diba? And this pulmonary congestion can cause pneumonia. So it's also important to ask those things. Your asthma, your emphysema. Sometimes it's genetic, lalo na kung asthma, di ba? And if they had a history of flu, TB, COVID. Lifestyle patterns. So these ones are very modifiable, di ba? You can change your lifestyle to improve your health. You can abuse your lifestyle to worsen your health. So, patient's history should also include information about lifestyle and community. Community is also important. We have a lot of TB patients, diba, who live in close-knit communities. They live in close-knit communities wherein dali na kayo matakdan ang lola, sa apo, sa anak, sa igsuon, sa pariente, and so on and so forth. There's no isolation that has happened, even in pneumonia, even in flu. So you also have to check that one. The environmental factors, nagbuot ba sila sa balay or naa sila kaugalingong mga kwarto? Yeah, you have to ask the patient if he or she smokes. If not, is the someone in the house smoke? Does someone in the house vape? Naabay factory near, or do they live near the main road na maraming exhaust ng sasakyan? Yan siya. So those factors is also part of the lifestyle patterns or questions. What is the coping style of the patient? Nag-exercise ba siya to distress? Maghigda ra ba siya? Tanaw ra siya sa Korean drama the whole day o sa ba? So you can ask about those things. Now for the objective data and assessment, this is just a review because you have already discussed this a lot of times. You can use this QR code to check, no, for videos and more resources about that one. Your inspection, palpation, percussion, and your auscultation. So this one, you already know that the symmetry of breathing patterns, diba, is very important to check. So you have already talked about this in your second semester, first year in health assessment. The eupnea, takip niya masyadong mabilis, mabagal, ang breath niya, apnea, hindi na nagagalaw. Hyperventilation, mas malalim pero normal rate. Sinus strokes, stop. Rapid breathing, daw stop. Your biots, no, faster and deeper, tapos mag-stop. Or your cosmol, walang pause. Grabe na deep. Kapoy kayo na sa pasyente, no? Mura siya nag-Iron Man. Kapoy kaayo na siya. Right? So, you have to assess those types of breathing patterns, especially if you're in the ICU sometimes. If the patient needs to be intubated, or if the patient is already intubated pero may problem sa breathing pattern niya. Most probably na-displace ang tube or may clog, hindi nag-suction. Marami kang kailangan tignan, not just the breathing pattern but also the O2 saturation of the patient, the color of the patient. Pero dapat makita mo rin yung breathing pattern, yung chest movement ni patient. Alright, for the palpation, of course, you cannot do this sitting, naglingkod ang pasyente kung naka-intubate ha. Dili na nimo mahimo. But more or less, you can actually feel the crepitus or have the sensation of the crepitus basta yung palm of your hands is on the patient's skin. Okay? Yan siya. You can check for expansion sa chest if nakasupine si patient. Okay? There should also be symmetry, equal chest rise, di ba, yung mga naging under sa akin sa RLE, di ba, nagpasulat ako ng with equal chest rise, good air entry on both lung fields. Ma'am, paano yan siya i-assess? Pag equal chest rise, maayo ang pag-expand sa chest. Good air entry on both lung fields, both in upper and lower lobes. So pag maminaw ka, using your stethoscope, paminawan nimo ang air entry na kay madunggan, especially pag intubated, that's considered as good air entry. So asa i-check, there is sa upper and then sa lower lobes of your patients. Of course, you cannot do percussion on an intubated patient unless dili siya intubated o makalingkod siya og tarong. But sometimes, when the patient is on side-lying position, you can take the opportunity to do your percussion at the back of the patient. So you can percuss the chest or the diaphragm or the back of the patient to check for dullness. Usually, pag merong maraming secretions doon sa isang lobe, lahi ang sound niya compared sa resonance dito sa mga empty lobes. Murag thud-thud. Tapos, ay tun-tun. Basta, you try to listen to Google or sa YouTube, and then you try to compare it if you're already in the actual setting para ma-appreciate nyo yung may laman na lobe, yung may secretion na lobe. or may nag-consolidate na secretion yung nagbuo na, and then doon sa loob na may magandang ear entry or may crackles na. Yan siya. Make use of your stethoscopes. Lalo na may mga litman dyan, litman. Tapos, di ba, you try to practice your assessment skills. Okay, so we already know this one, no? The vocal fremitus, your whispered pectorilloquy. Okay, so all of those things is important when you do your assessment. I'll not dive deep into this one. This has already been discussed in your physical assessment. So crackles is also important to check for secretions, no? Sometimes, amazing kaayo ng crackles kasi naa siya crackles, and then pag suction nimo, mawala ang crackles. But pasabot, secretions na di ay nagpus, ana. So do your assessment correctly. Do your suctioning religiously. Okay? Every 2 hours, mag-suction jud mo. Unless contraindicated by the doctor. Okay? Okay, so what are our tools when it comes to diagnostic assessment? Unsa naman ako English? Sagdi na lang, B. All right, non-invasive. You have your non-invasive and your invasive ways of checking for or diagnostic tools or assessment tools for respiratory patient. So you have your non-invasive, your invasive. So for your non-invasive, you have your pulse oximetry, which can be portable or can be hooked as part of your cardiac monitor. Anything na may tusok sa pasyente that is already considered as invasive. Okay? Later, we will talk about the different types of invasive diagnostic assessments, such as your ABG, your pulmonary wedge pressure. You have your pleural fluid analysis. Pulmonary angiography, ventilation, perfusion, for your VQ scan, and your tomography. Alright. Yung ating favorite is your pulse oximetry. But then again, if you have pulse oximetry, ginalagay man doon, di ba, minsan nagalabas doon yung pulse rate ni patient. You still have to do your manual, ha? Manual pulse rate. Do not follow the one that is projected by your pulse oximeter. Please, ha? Palihog lang. Okay, so your non-invasive pulse oximetry or your SpO2 or your O2 saturation. So this is the continuous monitoring of your saturation of hemoglobin. Okay, that's the saturation of oxygen, O2, in your capillaries. Kaya SpO2. The probe or sensor is attached to the fingertip. It can be a band-aid in the forehead. It can be a band-aid in the earlobe or even on the bridge of the nose. O, dili na siya bagong nose lift. Dili na siya ana. Sometimes you can put it here because of the amount of capillaries that is here and how thin the skin is in the forehead and in the earlobe. Okay? The normal values of your O2 saturation should be at least between 95% to 100%. Now, ma'am, dili mo basa akong O2 sat. Ayaw panik dayon. You have to check the equipment first. in any nursing procedure, if there is an abnormality and an equipment is involved, the first nursing intervention is always check the client or check the patient, then check the equipment. Okay? Dapat na gihapoy assessment. Right? So what are your special consideration? Before we talk about that, the sensor changes, detects the changes, diba, in the oxygen saturation monitoring. There is a light that is generated here, diba, inside. Okay. Then the values that 90% indicate the tissues are not receiving enough oxygen pag below 95%. Sometimes bugnaw, it's just cold, so you have to keep the extremity warm before you put on your pulse oximeter. Okay? Moving can also affect the result of your O2 saturation. So you also have to be mindful about those things. So what are the special consideration? Place the probe or clip over the finger or other intended sensor site. So the light beams at the sensors opposite to each other. So make sure that the light on top also meets with the light doon sa ilalim ng finger. Okay? Para ma-scan ng maayos yung probe, ang O2 saturation ni patient. What else? Dapat there is no nail polish because it will be useless. Dili ma-detect sa light, no? Ang capillaries. Don't expose your transducer into strong light. Make sure your device is in place, diba? There is no circulatory impairment. It's important to rotate your pulse oximeter every 4 hours. Diyos ko miya na nadira for the whole shift. Pag abli nimo naglakra na ang imong pulse oxy. No, especially sa pedya. Ginoo, diliin ani ang pulse oxy sa pedya ha. It's a different one. Mura na siya band-aid. Imagine, inana kagamay ang tiil sa imong pasyente niya. Butangan ni mo clip na dagko. Aluoy ka sa baby. Uy, imagine ako imuha ng tiil niya. Butangan og dagko na. Murag na maak na claw sa imong tiil. Kasakit, ana. Ba? If oximetry has been performed properly, the saturation readings are usually 2% of the ABG values. Of course, ABG is much more accurate as compared to your O2 saturation, pero mas maganda siya ang O2 ang pulse oximetry because it is non-invasive and you can monitor your patient every hour. Okay, your ABG. Maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow in depth. Okay, so your ABG is assessing the ability of the lungs to provide adequate oxygen and remove carbon dioxide, which reflects ventilation and the ability of the kidneys to reabsorb or excrete bicarbonate ions to maintain normal body pH, which reflects metabolic states. For some ICU nurses, they are actually trained to extract, no, arterial blood gas in the absence of the respiratory therapist. But it is mandatory for all respiratory therapists to learn how to extract blood on the arterial, blood gas. So nursing consideration, blood for an ABG analysis should be drawn from an arterial line. Sometimes nakikita naman sa result at saka sa color ng blood, di ba? Fascinating talaga yung blood that is from the vein and compared to the arteries. It's really bright red. Ang vein medyo almost dark, di ba? Very dark. The brachial or the arterial and sometimes the femoral arteries can be used. So you just have to locate the pulse and then you can extract the blood on the arteries. After the sample is obtained, you have to apply pressure on the puncture site for at least 5 minutes and tape it firmly in place. You can even ask the watcher kung na-watcher na, ma'am, pagunit ani kay basig magtulo-tulo ang dugo, because you know that veins ooze and arteries spew blood, diba? Then next is your regular monitor on the site of bleeding. Check for Check the arm for signs of complications such as swelling, discoloration, pain, numbness, and tingling. Masakit ba ya pagkuhaan og ABG? Nilingig. Kasi deeper man ng needle. Although it's smaller, pero it's deeper. And then for a patient na ay sa yuhina, kaayo yung pulse. No? Mag-ana gid na magtahi-tahi gid ng RT usahay. No? So make sure you note on the slip whatever the patient is breathing, room oxygen, or if oxygen is documented in liters. So if ikaw ang nag-extract, so yung room air, di ba favorite ko ito sa charting, yung mga nasa akin pag walang oxygen naka-attach on room air. Ibig sabihin walang cannula, walang mask na naka-attach. It's important to put that on the slip, no? Or in or ventilator settings kung naka-intubate. Lagay mo yan. Now, if the patient is receiving mechanical ventilation, document the fraction of inspired oxygen, FiO2. Excuse me. Also include the patient's temperature on the slip. Also included on the slips. So results may be corrective if the patient has fever or hypothermia. If the patient has fever, sometimes mag-derange ang result ng iyong EBG. No? So it's important na ibutang pod na siya na ay fever ongoing pagkuha sa EBG or mubo kayong temperature sa patient inikuha sa EBG. Okay? Right, so we will talk about this tomorrow. Kaya basig mahurot atong 30 minutes when I try to talk about this interpretation. Okay? But kindly work or kindly read on assignment yung tic-tac-toe na way na pagkuha ng EBG, because for me that is one of the easiest ways and your cheat sheets when you have your board exam, when you have your exam mismo sa EBG, no, mag-tic-tac-toe lang ka. pH, base, acid, and then ibutang-butang na lang nimo, then ma-analyze na nimo na metabolic alkalosis, compensatory, mga ganyan. Ay, respiratory acidosis with non-compensatory, o diba? More kag-right. So later we will be discussing that tomorrow. Later, das tomorrow, ano ba? Not tomorrow, on Saturday rather. Kaya mahurot atong time, ani. Okay? So again, your assignment is tic-tac-toe technique in your ABG interpretation. Para dili na ta mag-overanalyze. Make it simple for ourselves. Right, now, I have talked about the invasive, which is first invasive, which is ABG. Now let's talk about the pulmonary capillary wedge pressure. Okay? The pulmonary capillary wedge pressure is the left atrial pressure measurement obtained by passing the catheter from the right side of the heart onto the pulmonary artery. Okay? Yung isa sa mga dito sa pulmonary artery. Okay? Wedging it into a small pulmonary branch. Okay? It measures your pulmonary capillary wedge pressure. And usually, yung end ng iyong device is attached to a cardiac monitor. Okay? So, meron dyan isang ano ba tawag dyan? Isang bar na nakalagay doon ng values ng pulmonary capillary wedge pressure. Okay? So the type of catheter that is used to insert the pulmonary, to check the values of the pulmonary capillary wedge pressure is your Swan-Ganz catheter. Okay? Your Swan-Ganz catheter. So sometimes ito rin, let's say the patient has a jugular catheter And then meron siyang mga port. It's called a port, yung opening sa catheter. Meron siyang catheter for monitoring, may port for the fluids, okay? May port for the inotropes, yung isang port for fluids and medication, yung isa for monitoring. So, yung for monitoring, naka-attach yan siya sa cardiac monitor. Dito. So, dito, pwede ka mag-inject. Nandito yung valve, and this one is the connector. Okay? This one, this port, this one is connected to the cardiac monitor. This one is an open valve. So, air ang ginalagay dyan para may part dito na mag-balloon, mag-wedge siya doon sa may pulmonary artery. So, ito, pag ginagawa ito ng bedside, this is considered as minor OR at bedside. Okay? Pag ginagawa to sa ICU. Right? Another type of invasive diagnostic test is your pleural fluid analysis. Now, I have witnessed also this one in the ICU, si Dr. Uy. No? When the patient's lungs is filled with fluid, lalo na yung mga pneumonia, favorite kaya na niya for analysis. So, pleural effusion, pag merong pleural effusion si patient, yan, merong pleural fluid because of infection, no? Inflammation. Okay? Doon sa pleura, it reduces the airspace sa lung, di ba? Kaya minsan mahirapan na maghinga si patient pag naka-flat on bed kasi yung tubig nag-cover na sa lungs niya. So sometimes the pleural fluid is being extracted for it to be sent sa lab para makita anong laman nito. Okay? So pleural fluid is a liquid present in the space between the chest wall and the outer lining of the lungs, which is your pleura. So pleural fluid analysis is done to identify the reason of pleural effusion. Okay? Pag less than 20 ml of clear serous fluid, okay pa yan siya. Pero pag pleural fluid is reddish, thick, lalo na pag cloudy is a sign there is infection or inflammation. That is already a problem. So ano ang ginaran? Usually, may cultures na ginapa-run ang doktor sa pleural fluid para malaman din kung anong antibiotics ang pwedeng mabigay or compatible sa patient. So, importante ang bacteriology in trying to determine the coverage or the antibiotic coverage of the patient. So, matingala ka, di ba, usay? Alam mo, maning antibiotic na gihatag ni doc niya. Pag human og culture and sensitivity, gipausab lagi ni doc ang iyahang antibiotic. So, pagpangutan-on mo sa inyong CI during drug study, ngano kaha? So, buklaton, ablihan ninyo ang chart niya, maana mo, ay, kaya ako ang culture, inaani ang growth, bacterial growth, niya mo ang mga antibiotic na compatible si patient. So, you can have that critical thinking process and answer your clinical instructor, even si self. No, masagot nyo si self, bakit self? So, at least alam nyo paano mag-isip. Right, pulmonary angiography. Just 30 na. Pulmonary angiography. So, this one involves X-ray examination of your pulmonary vessels. So, you have to administer your radio-opaque dye. We have a question with that later on. The catheter is inserted sa imuhang femoral or brachial or any great vein. Basta dagpo nga vein. So, padulong sa heart, then sa pulmonary artery, tapos i-injected to ang dye. So, what is your nursing procedure before and after? You listen. Kaya wala siya diri sa slides. So, before the surgery, before the patient should be on NPO 4 to 8 hours prior to the procedure. Kung nag-duty mo sa San Lorenzo ward, mabantayan ninyo na favorite sa ubang doctors ang magpa-radio opaque dye. Ginapa-NPO usually ang mga patients 4 to 8 hours prior to these types of procedure. Next, ask the patient kung saan siya allergy. Okay? Ano yung importante na allergy precaution ni patient if you would give radio opaque dye? Is the patient allergic to seafoods? Importante yan siya. Because if the patient would be allergic to seafoods and then gihatag ninyo ang radio opaque dye, which is made of that material kanang mga seashells, the patient would have anaphylactic shock. Pag-inject pa lang sa dye. Okay? So it's also important to have an IVF line prior to giving or doing the procedure. Because your IVF line is an important access for your emergency, paging Dr. B. Emergency medications like your epinephrine, diba? To help with the allergic reaction. Kasi minsan, si patient sabi niya, di mo ka allergic sa seafood. Or, hindi siya knowledgeable na allergic siya. Or ginatiis niya lang, ginadeny niya, we do not know. Diba? So, once the patient would have an allergic reaction to the radio opaque dye, at least meron ka ng IV access right then and there, you can give your emergency medication paging Dr. B. Right? So, I've already talked about that. After the procedure, diba, doon mo man sa large veins gilagay ang iyong catheter, it's important to let the patient rest 3 to 8 hours post-procedure. Okay? VS, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 hours, then Q4. Check for bleeding on the puncture site. You also have to place sandbags on the puncture site. Why sandbag? To put pressure. Diba that's a big vein, dako kaayo ang blood loss kung nag-ooze ang blood on that area. Kung dili makaya sa kamot, alangan sa kamot, magkamot ka for how many hours? Sandbag na lang ang ibutang dito, labi na kung sa femoral artery siya i-insertan. Okay? Encourage fluid intake to promote excretion of the dye. So, another thing before injecting radio opaque dye, that the kidney function of the patient should be good. So, the creatinine, how do you check for kidney function? Creatinine level should be normal, right? Anong alternative? So, you do another procedure. Dili ka mag-pulmonary angiography. Pwede ka mag-CT scan, pwede ka mag-MRI. May question pala dito, ano daw ang alternative pag allergic sa seafood si patient? So, yun ang sagot ko. Mas mahal, magpa-MRI ka sa lungs. So, yun siya. Cheaper man good ni siya compared to your MRI and your CT scan. Welcome. Di ba, Marco nag-live selling? Heart. Salamat sa ice cream. Okay. Sige na. Ay, hapit na. 30 minutes na lang. Right. Another invasive is your ventilation perfusion scan or your VQ scan. This is a procedure that is used clinically to measure the integrity of the pulmonary vessels relative to blood flow and to evaluate the blood flow, any blood flow abnormalities. So this one, a VQ lung scan, can be a low-risk radioactive substance that can be traced by a special type of scanner. So, kung wala kay inani na scanner sa imong hospital, dali na mo na siya mahimo, no? So most probably mga high-end hospitals that can afford to buy this type of equipment can do a VQ scan. Okay? So yan siya, yung isotope, mag-pass through the lungs, then ma-visualize siya sa screen. So it's also important, if you could notice the patient here, diba, naa siya'y oxygen and radioactive gas. So instead of injecting an ice, yung kagaya sa kanina na dye, yung gas mismo may halo siya na radioactive substance. And then yun siya ang mag-project sa screen kung saan banda nag-diffuse sa lungs ang air. So makita siya. So what are the diagnoses that you can make through VQ scan? You can have your diagnosis of bronchitis, your asthma diagnosis, your inflammatory fibrosis, your pneumonia, emphysema, and lung cancer. Wala, tapos na. Mag-ano na tayo? Nursing diagnosis. Alright. Nursing diagnosis that can be useful when we talk about lung problems. You can make use of ineffective airway clearance, related to excessive and tenacious secretion. So say tenacious, ma'am, kanang maski mag dili gyud siya mulihok. That is your tenacious secretions. No, gahi gyud siya. That is your tenacious secretions. Impaired gas exchange related to activity intolerance. Lihok lang yun. Uy, anxiety related to breathlessness. Powerlessness related to feelings of loss of control. Panic na siya. Hindi na siya kahingag tarong. Yung RR na unsa na. High risk for ineffective therapeutic regimen. This is for long-term care. Related to lack of knowledge. This is more ideal for community. Diba yung mga community-acquired pneumonia or in the population of the community, ano, TB, ano naman na, diba? Right. So those are just snippets of the nursing diagnosis that you can use. Now let's talk about the conditions, no, that is related to your altered ventilator. Bakit ventilator? Ventilatory functions. So what are the run-through of the disease processes we'll be talking about? You have your COPD, your pulmonary embolism, your ARDS, your respiratory failure. You have your pneumonia, your VAP, your respiratory pandemics, yung ating COVID-19, ating MERS-CoV, and your ARDS. Pulmonary hypertension, your pneumothorax. Yan ang mga topics for the disease processes. So let's start with our COPD first. Right, so your chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So that is your COPD. I think this was discussed in your oxygenation, tama ba? If I'm not mistaken. Right. So your COPD is an obstructive pulmonary disease. It's a common lung disease, diba? So having COPD makes it hard to breathe, no? So Progressive respiratory disease characterized by combinations of emphysema. You have your bronchitis. Yan siya. And it is a common disease affecting tens and millions of people, causing significant numbers of deaths globally. So the two main forms of COPD is your chronic bronchitis, which involves a long-term cough with mucus, and your emphysema, which involves damage to the lungs over time. Sira. Before, asthma was under COPD, because they have the same characteristics. Tightening of airway, increased copious secretions, yun siya. Karon, it's as considered a distinct chronic inflammatory disease siya. So, however, pwede magsabay si COPD and asthma. Okay? So, yan siya. But, mas variable si asthma compared to your COPD. Okay? So, of course, what are the risk factors? Your smoking, your air pollution, exposure to industrial and chemical vapors, deficiency of enzyme alpha antitrypsin. So this is genetic. No problem. Okay, your exposure to tobacco is 80 to 90% of your COPD, even if you are a passive smoker or a secondhand smoker. Okay, air pollution is considered not only exhaust from cars and factories, but also dust, pollen, and siya. And then your deficiency of enzyme alpha antitrypsin is a genetic problem, and siya, because there's an enzyme inhibitor that normally counteracts the destruction of lung tissue by other types of enzyme. Inaatake sa lawas ang iyong kaugalingong self. So, kausapin mo ang self mo na huwag i-attack ang iyong lungs. Right? So, during COPD, what happens? The air tubes narrow as a result of swollen tissues and excessive mucus production. Yan. Tapos minsan, because of the increased mucus, nagkakaroon ng enlarged submucosal glands. Himuog, sobraan og himuog mucus. And then because of that, there's also, not because of that, and then with that is an inflammation of the epithelium. So napupuno ng secretions and there is inflammation that is happening during this time. Okay? Thus, in effect, there would be hyperinflation of your alveoli. Okay? Yung isang type naman, sa may emphysema, meron kang compressed na duct. Yan siya. Then, later on, you would have your collapsed alveolar sac. So, ang common na napapansin ko sa ICU, if the patient is diagnosed with COPD, there is always a history of smoking. Or, ang history sa iyahang trabaho, welder, di ba? Or sa construction, constru. Why? Because of the exposure to industrial and chemical vapors. Dust, di ba? Pag welder ka, yung fumes, vapors, dust, fumes. Naaamoy nila yon, and of course, it can affect the lungs. Most probably, hindi sila naglagay ng proper gear during the time that they are working. Okay. It's already 2:44. Mag-check sa og attendance before we continue this tomorrow. Ilan pang slides? Not tomorrow. On Saturday. 82 slides. So baka mag-wrap ako on Saturday para matapos natin si Respy Saturday. Okay? Sige, mag-stop na ako na recording.
Recording stopped.
So, remind me, emphysema ang No, no. COPD and then COPD ating last topic. Sige. Saturday pa nga pala. Alright, now we'll start with section M before I proceed with section L. Okay, Adsam,
Present po, ma'am.
Ampatuan,
Present po, ma'am.
okay, Arles, Arles. Are you here? Pixie. Baklaan, Gino. Wala ba siya sa this morning? Ganina. Balabis, James.
Present po, ma'am.
Okay, Balon.
Present po, ma.
Berneza.
Present po, ma'am.
Right, Bravo.
Present po, ma'am.
Cabrera.
Present, ma'am.
Calo.
Present po, ma'am.
Casal.
Present po, ma'am.
Tuim.
Present po, ma'am.
Ano daw, present si Arles at Baklaan. Ano daw, mag-ano nga kayo yung virtual hand. Baklaan na Gino, ha? Si Arles. Okay. Next is Kudis.
Present po, ma'am.
Okay. Del Mundo.
Present po, ma'am.
Right. Divino.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Present po.
Good afternoon. Duo.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Present.
Okay. Ente.
Present po, ma'am.
Flauta.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Present po.
Okay. Gambino.
Present po, ma'am.
Guadalupe.
Present po, ma'am.
Iba.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Java.
Present po, ma'am.
Laguda.
Laguda po, ma'am.
Okay. Librero.
Present po, ma'am.
Luciano.
Present po, ma'am.
Mangubat.
Present po, ma'am.
And Mataranas.
Present po, ma'am.
Ng Bata.
Present po, ma'am.
Ocampo.
Present po, ma'am.
Pailago.
Present po, ma'am.
Patigdas.
Present po, ma'am.
Okay. Plaza.
Present po, ma'am.
Ramos.
Present po, ma'am.
Rodriguez.
Present po, ma'am.
Sales.
Present po.
Okay. Senarillos.
Present po, ma'am.
Venezuelan.
Present po, ma'am.
Tan. Leonard.
Present po, ma'am.
Tuna.
Present, ma'am.
Berges.
Present po, ma'am.
Viliasis.
Present po.
Ison.
Present po, ma'am.
Right, for section L. Advincula.
Present po, ma'am.
Okay. Amoroso.
Present po, ma'am.
Okay. Ariate.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Present po.
Afternoon. Austria.
Present po, ma'am.
Okay. Baklaan Shardine.
Afternoon, ma'am. Present po.
Okay, good afternoon. Balingit.
Present po, ma'am.
Byron. Ito na ba siya? Ano naman ang madayaw? Bonilla.
Present po, ma'am.
Cabrera.
Present po, ma'am.
Kagape.
Present po,
Gap.
ma'am.
Okay. Carnaje.
Afternoon, ma'am. Present po.
Chang.
Present po, ma'am.
Cabarubia. Cubarubia.
Present po, ma'am.
Del Castillo.
Present po, ma'am.
Lidichon.
Present po, ma'am.
Diwa.
Present po, ma'am.
Lumalag.
Present po, ma'am.
Ingalgado.
Present po, ma'am.
Espino.
Present po, ma'am.
Ferolin.
Present po, ma'am.
Galinato.
Present po, ma'am.
Guadalquiver.
Present po.
Aranilla.
Present po, ma'am.
Lagmay.
Present, ma'am.
Ibuon.
Present, ma'am.
Lu.
Present po, ma'am.
Maniging.
Present po, ma'am.
Suecos.
Present po, ma'am.
Nalupa.
Present po, ma'am.
Oka.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Present po.
Afternoon. Pagaran.
Present po.
Pascual.
Present po, ma'am.
Plasabas.
Present,
Sama.
ma'am.
Robledo.
Present po, ma'am.
Salazar.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Present po.
Afternoon. Sema.
Present po, ma'am.
Supol.
Present po, ma'am.
Tan. Altea.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Present po.
Afternoon. Tubang.
Present po, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Banyo.
Present po, ma'am.
Villaraza. I-raise na lang yung virtual hand. Okay. Ira.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Present po.
Good afternoon. Right, so on Saturday, we'll continue the respiratory problems. And then I will also give the quiz for your IBTT on Saturday na lang. Okay? So it's either in the morning or in the afternoon. Tanaw na to sa flow sa tuang lesson. Okay?